The Team Engagement Podcast, where leaders share their insights. It's 6 questions in 9 minutes because leaders know how to be concise. So let's jump right into it. Question number 1, tell me who you are and what you do.
Thanks for asking, Sean. I'm Lisa Bowman, and I am a purpose-driven marketer. I've had almost 10 years of experience working for purpose-driven brands, some in the private sector, Fortune 50 with UPS, and also the world's largest nonprofit, United Way.
Oh, fantastic. Question number 2, what is the best thing about working with the team?
People. I love to work with people. There's always something that you can learn from somebody. And even when there are people that you don't particularly enjoy working with, you learn a little bit about yourself and your style and how to navigate that.
Great. That's a great response. Well, question number 3. I hear from other leaders that it can be challenging to get team members engaged. What are your thoughts on that?
I think you really have to be creative today with getting people engaged. People spend so much of their time at work, and you have to look for those different strategies. And it's an individual thing. Everybody responds differently. Everybody gets motivated by different things. You need to dig down and get to know your people. What motivates Jane is not the same thing that motivates Jim. They're going to get engaged in different ways based on different motivational factors.
Well, that's a great insight. Excellent. Question number 4, what other successful people, such as yourself, should be on my podcast?
Well, first and foremost, I'm glad you think I'm successful. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. You know, I think that success is defined in so many different ways. And not to put a timestamp on this, but as we are doing this recording during the COVID crisis, I think there's a number of people that are stepping up to show leadership in very different ways. Whether it's Instagram influencers that I'm seeing that are stepping up to use their platforms to help find supplies or raise money, or people that didn't have a national presence, quite frankly, like the governor of New York, who has really stepped up and demonstrated some amazing leadership. I think sometimes leadership emerges depending on a situation. So I'm not sure that I could point to a specific person when there are so many people demonstrating incredible leadership these days.
That's great. Thank you for those comments. Question number 5, what piece of advice would you give to other people and leaders who are leading a team?
I think the most important thing is building relationships with your team members. Doesn't mean you have to be besties. It doesn't mean you have to hang out outside the office, but the better insight you have into somebody and the more you understand what makes them tick, the more effective of a leader you're going to be. To my earlier point, everybody gets motivated by different things. For some people, it's recognition. Some people, it's compensation. Once you understand that person and what their motivational drivers are, it'll lead you to a better sense of engagement with them.
That's great comments. I love that. Well, 6th and final question. Tell us about your first job.
You know, that was the one that I was most worried about, quite frankly. Very first job was actually working at a hot dog stand. It was the only job in my life from which I've ever gotten fired because at the end of my 3rd day, they asked me to, what they call marry the ketchup bottles, merge 2 half-empty bottles into one. Unfortunately, I have a real thing for ketchup. I don't like it. And it was a task that I really struggled with. They very politely told me that probably was not the right environment for me.
That's a great story. Thank you for sharing that. Well, Lisa, thank you for being on the podcast. Where can people find you?
You can find me on LinkedIn at Lisa Bowman. Look forward to hearing from folks. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Well, thank you. And this is Sean with the Team Engagement Podcast, where leaders share their insights. You can look for more ideas at Blue Sky Business Consulting on LinkedIn.